Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be having a look at settings inside of Call of Duty, Black Ops, Cold War, multiplayer, zombies, whichever one you want. Campaign doesn't matter, you can bring those right up and you won't have any kind of competitive edge over AI, so that won't really matter. But in multiplayer, some people like to have that competitive edge, and there's certain settings in the game that can make you achieve that on different levels. Some people might see some of these as extreme and they don't want to have the same visual kind of bugs as I do. Like if you look on the screen right now, the shadows aren't the best, are they? They're not great. And the hair isn't exactly crisp. But if you don't care about things like that and you just want to kill, then I would suggest using these settings. I have gotten used to using low settings in Call of Duty games and in kind of all shooting games for quite a while now, just to get that FPS bonus that I can get from doing so. So first, we're going to jump into settings, keyboard and mouse, and we'll be on input device. Now, if you're on keyboard and mouse, you want to be finding out what your sensitivity is. For some of you it might be easy, for newcomer PC players this might be a bit harder. I would recommend going into custom matches and trying to snap on people's heads in like the bot area, and if you can't hit those heads you need to change your sensitivity up or down. Just keep doing that and you'll find your sensitivity. Mine is currently 7.5, but I think I might up that a little bit towards 8, but we'll see. Either way, this is personal preference. Some people love it high, some people love it really low. Make sure you get the right sensitivity. Okay, if we go over onto the next tab, gameplay, we'll have all of this stuff. And there's a couple of things here we want to have a look at. First of all is the armor behavior. So you'll have to go down a bit to weapons and equipment, armor behavior, and you want to have this to apply all. You want it to apply all armor at once. You can still cancel the animation if you like sprint and then stop, just like a reload, but it is best to just get them all in instead of sitting there tapping like an absolute maniac. Then you want your interact behavior to be on tap. I think on keyboard and mouse this is default tap, but on controller I think sometimes it is hold. So have it on tap. And then keybinds are just your personal preference. There is a couple I would recommend you changing. I would have melee onto your mouse if you can get it on your mouse buttons. Otherwise it's just like push to talk and stuff like that. Everything else doesn't really matter, and again it's personal preference. So next for me, the most important tab, the graphics tab. Now to start off, obviously you want it on full screen to get the most frames you can get out of the game. Main monitor, refresh rate, set this to the same hertz as your monitor. It has to be the same, otherwise you're going to have issues down the line. Gameplay VSync, disabled. Menu VSync, disabled. This will just give you less frames per second. Just turn it off. Turn it off. The NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency. Now this is a feature in Black Ops Cold War that allows you to use your NVIDIA to take some of the load off your PC while trying to render the game. I would recommend having this on normal. The other two are good for different things, but if you just want an even experience, you put it on normal. Render resolution, you want to stick this at what your monitor is, so 1920 by 1080 for me. If it's more for you, then you need to put it up, otherwise you will have really horrible blurring all over your screen if you don't have this right. Display resolution, obviously 1080, aspect ratio automatic. So colorblind modes are obviously personal preference. I actually am slightly colorblind, but not enough to actually need to use these modes. Field of view, I would have it anywhere from 90 to 100. That is the sweet spot. I go for 95. If I'm playing zombies, I'll prop it up to about 100 just so I can see a bit better, but put it on 95. 90-95 is probably the best for multiplayer. ADS field of view, this is a personal preference, but if you have it on independent, it means that your ADS field of view will be separate from your actual field of view, and I prefer it to be independent because then you can kind of zoom in a lot more. It's not actually zooming in more, by the way, it's just your ADS, your field of view, sorry. The feeling of it happening puts you into the right kind of frame of mind. Personally, I prefer it on independent. I think most people like it on affected though, so that is up to you. Brightness, you want to set this so you can just see the black on the grey background. So mine's on 57 there. Frame rate limit here, we've got it on custom, so we've got a gameplay custom frame rate limit set to 150. I've put it a little bit more than what my monitor is able to put out, just to give my PC a few extra frames to work around with. Menu and minimize don't matter, so I'll put it on 60. Now the details and textures, I put it all on low. So basically everything from now on, I put on low, other than a few things. So texture quality, you can put it on lowest, although even I can't deal with that. I mean, you will get a better experience in terms of frames. Low and medium are probably ones you want to go for here, depending on your computer. So as we can see down here, everything is on its lowest level until we get to dynamic shadows, which I have on all, so you can actually see shadows. They may be bad quality, but they're still shadows. You can still get an advantage seeing someone's shadow before you see them. Otherwise, again, disabled, 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 disabled. We have anti-aliasing, so you can have this on lowest or low. Disabled, lowest or low. Out of these three, they don't really make much of a difference when you're looking at your screen, so I would recommend having it on lowest, just for a little bit of anti-aliasing without going completely without. The higher you go with this, it really does start to look strange in certain ways. Everything gets a little bit blurry. You will get jagged edges around the edges of your characters, guns, everything like that, but it does make things a lot easier to see, especially on bigger maps. Currently, I like to have mine on lowest. And then disabled, disabled, low, disabled, disabled. VRAM usage target. So this will try and use a certain percentage of VRAM. So what it does is dedicate a certain amount of the VRAM to Black Ops rather than the rest of your computer. So if you are streaming or recording on a mid-range PC, I would recommend putting this on low or medium, honestly, or default, sorry. I wouldn't put this on high. In fact, I would hardly ever put this on high. The only reason I would put this on high is if I wasn't doing anything else on my computer. I didn't have two monitors. I was just a single monitor computer. Display gamma, computer, display adapter, auto select, and that is graphics. Only a couple more options left to go. So audio, you want to set your preference to high boost. This is your audio presets. It's on the first little section. You want to put it on high boost or bass boost. One of these, I prefer high boost personally, but either of those are fine, honestly. And also the sound effects in this game are much clearer than they were in Modern Warfare, so you shouldn't really have much of an issue regardless. The rest of this is all personal preference. I like to have my master volume on 70, that's just because of the rest of my PC. Sound effects volume should have on 90 to 100. Music volume you can have anywhere. Obviously it doesn't matter, I don't even have mine on at the moment. Master volume, again, have it on whatever you want. The higher you go, the better you can hear people. Simple as that. Interface. So subtitles you want disabled. Unless you really want to read what everybody on your team is saying, have it on disabled. Introduction movie. So this is so you can skip the introduction movie when you first boot up the game. Have this on skip and you will never see it again. Next, we've got the HUD bounds, the HUD bounds. Click this and have it about what mine is. So as you can see, it will be by default at the edges of your screen. You want it to come, so if that's all the way, you can't go further than that. You want it about halfway through there. So there, and the same here as well. That way, everything's a bit closer to you. So like the map, your health, your ammo, everything's a little bit closer to where your eyes are pointing. And next we have the telemetry stuff. So that's the FPS counter, the GPU temperature, GPU clock, all this kind of stuff. Have as much of it as you want on. I currently have it hidden just because I'm recording, but usually I will have the FPS counter there. And last but not least, the controller settings. Just use a mouse and keyboard. Simple, just use a mouse and keyboard. Okay, so those are all of the important settings to really maximize your performance and gameplay in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. If you like the video or if you learned anything from it, please do drop a like below. And if you've got any ideas for any future content, please do let me know in the comments below as well. And if you've got any problems with any of the settings I've said today, please do let me in the comments. I do reply to all comments, no matter how ridiculous. So do let me know if anything didn't work or anything went wrong, or if you found some better set of settings for frame rate increases and stuff like that. If you want to see that future content, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that jazz. Before you go, just a reminder, I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week. I'll post when I go live on my Twitter, which is also in the description below. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.